Hey guys, Kicking Pilates. Okay, perfect timing. I just made some videos, just got some no steps from Griffin. He's a Northern Arizona commit. So he's starting off no steps real fast, picking it up, looking real good. So this is a little bit more advanced no step stuff. So he wanted corrections, but there's things in there that lots of people do as they're getting ready. So first one, talk about the arm. Okay, so arm's looking good. So a lot of times people start, but they go straight out to the side, right? Straight out to the side. So as you're getting better, remember, everything we practice in kicking and punting, especially when we're punting, we really want to shorten up everything. But of course, if we go in the game, if we have our arm like this, what are we going to do when we kick off? We're going to go behind our body. So it's a good way to start on the no steps rather than all the way out here. Try it 45 or 50, somewhere in there. The other thing is, no straight arm, the more likely you are, the concept is the more likely you are to hyperextend that elbow, it'll turn into a shoulder down the road. So pretend you're I like to use my right hand. I like to push up against my right hand with the bend elbow, so my shoulder kind of goes down my back. I can feel this lat connection right there. Boom, okay, walk through it. Okay, number two. This is a little tricky, but I'm gonna use this piece of paper. So it's kind of connected. A lot of guys have this really high follow through. So sometimes it's just how their bodies are. They have really mobile hips, their leg goes up. But a lot of times we like to do these practice dry swings where we like to touch our foot to our hand. But a lot of times in slow motion, we're really reaching at that last second. This does not mean that your extension sucks, because it doesn't. It just means our bodies, it looks really cool when we go up, but we don't understand what's happening in our opposite hip flexor. And a lot of times guys have a really good range of motion, but especially if you see it in punting, a lot of guys want to do these warm-up kicks, get their hand above their head, but they're really crashing into their left hip flexor. We always want this left hip flexor lengthened, okay? So that's where we get those FU kickoffs and punts, those super bombs. So I'm gonna use this piece of paper, right? These are all connected. So a lot of times guys are getting used to the one steps, they're getting the good follow through, but they're still not extending out of their left hip flexor. And a lot of guys just aren't flexible. So if you never lengthened it, how would you even know? So some cues I like to use, I say, pretend there's some Velcro over your shoe, and as you're coming over top of it, you feel that stretch, that deep stretch, just like you're doing this stretch right here. Okay, so as far as foot placement, we don't want our foot jammed into the ground like we're jumping and coming down. Your body doesn't know you're kicking, it just knows how to run and jump. So we need to trick it into thinking we're going to get it to jump. So a lot of times guys are hitting those really good balls, they just can't get that little extra something on kickoffs or field goals, that last little piece of height and power. And so a lot of times their foot is jammed into the ground. They think they're getting a good extension, but remember, you're only getting good extension if you're lengthening out of that plant hip flexor, okay? So when you're in stance, and I like how the last couple videos the balls move back, because finally you're letting your hip get neutral and square. It needs a little bit of room to get under the ball, but just take some flexibility in your left hip, okay? So when you're in your stance, I like to use the imagery of putting a book. I'm in an office right now, so I'm going to use a little piece of paper. So when you come through, this knee is going to stay pretty vertical. Once this is locked into place, the hip is going to jump off it, just like you're dunking a basketball. So a little imagery I like to use, if you're in your house, just put a foot, a book down or something like that. Try to get your heel off the ground. That'll just help you get a little bit more mobile. You also might need to bend in your back knee a little bit, scoop a little bit more. It's going to be tight. You'll loosen up. Don't worry. That's what Pilates is for. So the imagery off the book, as we're coming, we can shift our weight back ever so slightly. Boom. And we're pushing off the book. So obviously it's going to feel a little bit weird because you never did no steps properly anyway, and now you're putting a book under there. But you do that a couple times, just a couple dry swings, try your left foot, try your right foot, And then when you're down on the ground, you realize, okay, I can push into my heel a little bit more, but if I bring my toe up, I've got a little bit more mobility, a little bit more room to move. So remember, we're not a pendulum, we are a moving pendulum. And then I think we covered it all. Okay, so, all right, thanks so much for sending in the video. This is more advanced stuff, but just something to experiment at home, and we'll keep on finding those little cracks.